A very good evening. I'm NORA ADIHIAMBO live from MCN Studios. It is 5 minutes past the top of the hour and the stories making headlines are: KRA sets business permit trap for small traders with tax notice. IBC on the spot again. Exams period in Daystar University kicks in. First baby born via uterus transplanted from dead donor. MCN Prime starts now. The taxman has asked millions of small traders to immediately pay a newly introduced tax that kicks in from January or risk not getting their business permits renewed. The Kenya Revenue Authority yesterday said the informal traders will be required to log on to its tax platform and pay the presumptive tax before county governments can renew their business permits, not tied to payment of the tax for next year. In a notice published in the local dailies, the KRA said that in accordance with the Finance Act 2018, the presumptive tax shall become payable from January 1, 2019. All eligible taxpayers are therefore advised to pay for their presumptive tax at the time of payment for business permit fee or trade license.
The KRA is under pressure to collect additional revenues, thus targeting small business traders, majority of whom do not pay taxes. Now, the persons acquiring or renewing their business permits or license at the county shall be required to do so at the rate of 15% of the business permit fee or the license payable. Now, this means that millions of small business traders who will not have met the deadline of paying the tax will be denied their business permit fee or the trading license by January. MARION NEKESA for MCN News.
The Electoral Commission is again on the spot for issuing tenders worth millions of shillings to a communication firm for 1 year for a job that could have been done in 4 months. Members of Parliament demanded to know how Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission assigned a 350 million shillings contract with Standard Kenya Limited to provide strategic communication and integrated media campaign consultant from July 1st year to June this year. The firm completed its work in November last year. MPs who sit in the Public Accounts Committee chaired by Ugunja MP Opio Wandai took the public relations firm to task to explain the functions they have been carrying out since they presented their report to the Commission on November 30th last year. As Daystar University begins to mark the end of yet another semester, students are busy preparing for their final exams. The exams, which started on 5th December, have seen most popular spots in the school, including the PSC and hotspots area, empty. Students are instead filling up the library and research labs in a bid to do last-minute reading.
I am standing on the school's hotspot area where you would normally find filled with students because of the availability of reliable and fast internet access. Students also enjoy sitting here because of the availability of adequate chairs and shades, catching up with their friends as they await to go to their classes. On this ground is also the students' canteen, which has been closed for a few days now since the onset of the exams. This is because the ones who run it are also students who have exams. MARION NEKESA for MCN News.
Elsewhere in a medical first, researchers reported on Wednesday that a mother who received uterus transplant from a dead donor gave birth to a healthy baby. The breakthrough operation performed in September 2016 in Sao Paulo, Brazil, shows that such transplants are feasible and could help thousands of women unable to have children due to uterine problems, according to a study published in The Lancet. Until recently, the only options available to women with so-called uterine infertility were adoption or the service of a surrogate mother. The first successful childbirth following uterine transplant from a living donor took place in 2014 in Sweden, and there have been 10 others since then. Next up, we have Charlotte Ida with business news.
I am Charlotte Ida, and for business news, rich Kenyans lined up for 51 million shillings US citizenship deal. An American private equity firm is in the country scouting for wealthy Kenyans to invest their way into the American citizenship through US Immigrant Investor Visa Program. Interested locals will have to fork out 51 Kenyan million shillings in order to qualify for the investor visa, commonly known as Employment-Based Fifth Preference, or rather EB-5. On to the next news. Nut processors sound alarm over fake macadamia. Stakeholders in Kenya's nut sector have warned farmers and the general public to watch out for fake macadamia seedlings being sold in the country, as demand for fake crop continues to soar due to farm gate high prices. The price of macadamia nuts reached up to 200 Kenyan shillings a kilo at the close of last harvesting season in September. However, unscrupulous traders in Nyeri, Meru, and Embu counties are reportedly exploiting the increased demand of supplying unsatisfied seedlings to farmers that go between 300 Kenyan shillings and 400 Kenyan shillings. And a record low of 2,749.34 in October of 2018. On to the historical chart, the Kenya stock market has released a calendar of actual data where we have a currency of 102 shillings and 55 cents to the lowest of 36 shillings and 23 cents. Moving on to stock market, we have a 2,791.52 points to the current lowest of 2,749.34 points. Winding up, we have the government bond, where the last was 12.40% and now currently to the latest of 5.64%. And that was all for business today. Back to you, Nora.
Now let's get to the field of sports with Neema.
Thank you, Nora. And on sports news, Cameroon gets second chance to host Cup of Nations. Cameroon will now host the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations after being stripped of the rights to host next year's edition by the Confederation of African Football last Friday. CAF President Ahmad has confirmed. According to Ahmad, Cameroon was stripped of the 2019 AFCON rights to avoid a repeat of 2010, where Togolese players were attacked by Cabinda separatists in Angola. World record holder Jeb Kosgei puts off marathon debut. World half-marathon record holder Jocelyn Chepkosgei, who was to make her marathon debut at this weekend's Honolulu Marathon, now has to wait longer to realize the dream after she picked up an injury. The 24-year-old, who was lining up for her first marathon race after a brilliant show in half-marathon, twisted her leg during training while preparing for her debut. Jeb Kosgei further said that she will continue training once she heals, as she looks forward to taking part in other races next year. Her withdrawal leaves former Honolulu Marathon champion Joyce Jepkirui, Vivian Kiplagat, and Sheila Jerotich to battle it out for the crown won by Brigid Kosgei last year. Kenya Lionesses might have finished their 2018 Dubai Sevens with no win, but coach Kevin Bling Wambua must walk with his head high. From being thrashed in their rare appearances at the global stage, many invitational tournaments, Olympics, and Commonwealth, to matching with the world's best in Dubai, these girls are developing just at the right pace, slow but sure. In April this year, Lionesses were blown apart 47-5 by world champions New Zealand's Black Ferns during club games in Gold Coast. They couldn't match up with the Icelanders' pace, power, and skills, but in Dubai, they gave as much as they received. For sports news, I'm Neema ATIENO. Back to you, Nora.
Hopefully, the Kenyan Lionesses will win future matches. That brings us to the end of MCN News. Good evening.